In the evening, the boy played alone with the face effects, but in a flash, the effects actually jumped behind. The boy thought there was someone behind him, but turned his head but nothing, did not take it seriously. He played again, did not want to think. The special effects reappeared. The boy was a little scared. After all, the house is only one person. In order to verify the truth, he slowly will be the lens to the corridor. And it was true that the face effects just appeared out of thin air, and then the boy will turn the camera. But how can not shine human face effects? As if everything is just their own hallucinations. But the strange things do not end. The next day, the boy was about to go to bed, and suddenly found that the phone pops up a children's book. The bizarre style of painting makes the boy a little scared, but want to close but cannot close. Helpless, the boy began to read the book. The protagonist of the main character is a body of deformed monsters, named Larry. He was often ridiculed because of his differences. No one wants to play with him, and the lonely Larry just want to make a friend. The boy just read 2 pages. Beside the body will be a sudden change, as if there is something is following the current, towards the house. The boy seems to have a sense of it, quickly ran over to close the door, however, just back to the bed, and saw that the door was opened. The boy can only once again it closed, and even moved all the toys blocked the door. Everything is ready. The boy flew to hide in the quilt, apprehensively twisted fingers, but unexpectedly, the door is still a little pushed open. It turned out to be the boy's mother. The mother looked at the frightened son is very distressed, and immediately handed him a cell phone. The boy skillfully fiddled with the cell phone.
Something in-house.
Upon hearing this, the mother took him into her arms and reassured him that it was just a nightmare. But was it? The boy's name is Oliver, suffering from severe autism, even to the age of 5 years old cannot speak, only with the cell phone to convey their own ideas, but also because of this, he became the mouth of his classmates, not only cannot make friends, but also repeatedly ridiculed by classmates. But when his wife will be bullied son, told her husband. Her husband was not at all concerned about it, thinking that it is just a prank between children. Oliver can only be filled with the complaints into the stomach. Fortunately the lack of father's love Oliver did not lose mother's love. In order to be able to let him talk, every weekend, his mother will take him to therapy, in order to help Oliver find friends. Is more frequent will be the neighboring children invited to the home as guests, but until this night, playmates unintentionally Oliver's flatbed flipped. Oliver seems to have a feeling of foreboding, desperately trying to stop them from opening, but it is still a step too late, that the children's books light up. The bizarre painting style instantly aroused their interest. A sentence read out, Oliver's heart more and more intense uneasiness. The body cannot help but control the slow retreat. Sure enough, with the deepening of the reading, the strange force again, followed by the lights in the house again burst. Darkness instantly shrouded them. The playmates began to balk at the scene, and only Oliver stood out. He turned on the tablet flashlight, using the lens to observe the house. Sure enough, he found not far away from an additional thing. In order to see clearly, Oliver can only a little closer. It was a white humanoid creature, and it can only be seen through the lens. The horror of it, it can move. Just at this moment, the playmates grabbed the tablet, thinking that this is all Oliver's mischief. How in the world there is that kind of creature? The next moment, he stood up to the place where the monster appeared. The scene is all normal. Everyone hanging heart finally landed. However, the next second, the table moved violently. Piercing shrieks finally woke up the mother. The mother looked at the scene of the woeful, for the sake of the children's safety, can only be notified to the neighbors to pick up the night. On the verge of leaving, they are still certain that this is Oliver's mischief, but Oliver knew that there must be another kind of creature at home. The spying on him from the shadows. The boy heard the corridor, out of nowhere footsteps. He immediately opened the lens, finally see the source of the footsteps, which is a deformed humanoid creature. Oliver tiptoed into the room, but the monster seems to know that he wants to come. Not only did not frighten him, but also friendly to throw a toy, and then stretched out the long fingers towards the boy hooked, and intended him to go over to play. But fortunately at this time, the mother's voice timely sound, with the flashing lights, the monster disappeared in the camera. Even just hid under the bed, but also did not find traces of it. Yes, just disappeared into thin air. Next, Oliver will be the monster portrait handed to his parents to see, but John did not take it seriously, but also teasingly look at his nervous wife, that she makes a big deal, but his wife is firmly that Oliver lack of fatherly love from a young age, and through this to fantasize about a tall figure to protect himself. John knew that he was in the wrong, and decided to spend some time with Oliver tonight. Then he brought Oliver to his workplace. Unaware that the danger was also creeping closer, Oliver looked out the window in the darkness, and seemed to have a premonition. So in order to banish the uneasiness in his heart, he decided to look for something to play with. It did not take long. A rangefinder device that can emit lasers evoked Oliver's interest, and he slowly out of the toll booth, the laser to the distance. The number on the screen also kept changing, But at this point, the number suddenly became 50 feet, and the laser also seems to be stopped in the air, can no longer penetrate. More frightening is that the number on the screen is rapidly decreasing in the blink of an eye, has come to 30 feet, from far and close to the sound of footsteps is gradually clear. Oliver was scared to stay in place, watched the thing close to their own, not long. The number stopped at 3 feet, the distance has been very close. Oliver wanted to reach out, but because of fear, and will shrink back, and then from his pocket to pull out his own rubber toys, one or two thrown forward. There is no abnormality, until Oliver threw out the third. The toys actually stopped in the air. As if sticking to something, his father held him into the toll booth, urged Oliver not to run too far. Can Oliver no longer play mind? Pick up the tablet computer, began to observe the surrounding area. John looked at his son's strange behavior, a sense of guilt arose, take the initiative to play with his son, but it is this look, Oliver has floated into the air, and John did not realize until he saw the reflection in the glass. Fortunately, John in time to hold his son escaped. Not only that, the mother's side also encountered strange things. First of all, placed on the table on the tablet computer, just turn around, the effort will be replaced by 2 meters apart on the sofa. But this is not the most bizarre. Even more bizarre is that he clearly turned off the house electric switch. The next second, all the living room bulbs actually lit up. The mother incredibly looked at this scene against common sense, followed by a series of footsteps ringing in the ear. And then is the sound of chairs being pulled. But the mother stepped out to see that there was no one, so she instinctively copied aside the kitchen knife, and then said tentatively,
"Hello?
Hello.
What replied to her turned out to be a tablet on the table, and the scariest part was the next line.
Say goodbye to Oliver.
Thinking it was a hacker at work, the mother simply blocked the front and back shots, but she couldn't stop the voice from coming through. The mother was horrified. It turned out that there really was a monster in the house. Soon, the couple met up and agreed to destroy the creepy tablet first. But could the monster really just disappear? Obviously negative. In order to explain to the parents of their own ideas, Oliver took out 2 pieces of paper, respectively, painted on the monster and their own, and then they put them under the lamp. At once, behind the monster was illuminated, and there is no light of the place, there is no monster. The parents of the parents at once. Oliver wanted to express the meaning of the monster, and we are not the same world. Need some kind of medium to appear, and this kind of medium may be related to the light. In order to verify his own conjecture, the father decided to risk his own life. He was alone in the toll booth with the light on, still reading the children's book, and as expected, the more he read, the more violently the light bulb flickered, and when it crawls into your world, it'll swiftly take away a friend, and if anyone dares to stop it, then they will surely die. Obviously, the monster wanted to take Oliver, and the parents were the ones who stopped it, not waiting for John to think about it. The cars in the parking lot rattled one after another and got closer and closer to him. John wanted to run away, but the monster didn't give him a chance. Directly shutting him down inside the pavilion, John cried out for help, but no one heard him at this time of the night, and even more frightening was the sound of footsteps coming from the outside. Oliver could only panic and hide under the table, but the naked eye couldn't see the monster. John remembered his son's way out, so he snuck over to his cell phone and turned on the camera. The monster was clearly captured. Fortunately it outside, should not be able to enter for a moment, was about to take a breather. A zip 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 sound came out. John opened the camera again. The window has no trace of the monster, but suddenly appeared again in the head. Luckily, John was able to get the door open this time. The escape, but the horror is, behind the street lamps went out. John knew that the monster is catching up, immediately opened the phone to look around, but just point the camera at the back of the car, instantly captured the figure of it. John was startled. The phone unfortunately slipped, followed by the street lamps in front of the street lamps also went out one after the other, which means that the monster has been very close to him and very close to him. It was not easy to get a cell phone. The rear of the monster is no sign of the monster, but it actually came to beside him. John was shocked and sent directly to the hospital, and at this time, the family is not at peace. The TV played a children's book for no reason. How to turn off cannot be turned off, until the last picture appeared. The mother saw the situation directly to the TV removed, thrown out of the room, and incidentally all the bulbs screwed out, but in spite of this, but still, cannot stop the monster footsteps. The mother wanted to see the situation to bring Oliver to escape, but just walked 2 steps, all electrical appliances, the screen began to flicker, and then a ghostly hand stretched out. Obviously, the monster is going to show up to catch people. Mother and son carefully hid behind the wall. Do not dare to make a little noise, because not far away there is a monster is looking for them. See, hiding in this sooner or later to be found. The mother was ruthless. Find the right time to run towards the door, but the next second, the monster blocked the door. The mother can only take Oliver upstairs, and then quickly drilled into the bottom of the bed. But even if the situation is so critical, the mother is still trying to comfort the son of the scared son. The son felt the love of the mother also gradually relaxed. Soon, the monster still stepped into the room, mother and son too tightly curled up into a ball. Soon, the monster looked all over the closet, and finally stopped in front of the bed. As long as a bend in front of the bed can be found them, fortunately, the monster did not bend, but directly from the bed, but the monster's strong sense of oppression, or so Oliver suffers from autism, cannot be held back. His mouth cannot help but let out a strange scream, although the mother tried to stop. It was too late. Mother and son fled into the street in a panic. The monster is still in hot pursuit. Just in the nick of time, they actually ran into a piece of the wilderness by mistake, and there is no light here, which also means that the monster cannot come after them. To determine the safety of the mother and son, the two happy to embrace each other, but they do not know, deep in the bushes there is a cell phone. As the screen flashes, the monster appeared. A life and death chase has begun. The mother knows, this time to be caught up with. Certainly bad luck. They put their lives pulling their son to run, but I did not expect. A car appeared violently. In this case, mother and son were completely separated, and Oliver is very bad luck to be captured by the monster, and dragged all the way into the dense forest. Just as the monster said, it will not hurt Oliver, just want to bring him to their own world. So the monster hooked his finger towards Oliver. Oliver, as an autistic child, in fact, is also lonely. He also wants to look for a friend, so Oliver slowly reached out his hand, but he did not know that holding hands will disappear from this world forever. A close call.
I'll be your friend, Larry. We both want the same thing. We both want to protect Oliver.
The monster looked at him for a long time, and finally closed his fingers, which signaled that his mother was going to follow him.
I love you. I love all of you.
The last time, the mother said his love for his son, Oliver, also finally know, the most caring, the most willing to be friends with their own, has always been around, but ultimately it was too late. The monster did not give them time. The mother's face is also fast becoming hideous. But no matter how to change, in the face of her son, her face is also still always hang a smile. After mom disappeared, Oliver also learned the first sentence, said the first word, and around the classmates know his situation, also no longer ridicule him, and began to really accept him. And this night, the table light bulb flickers for no reason. Is it the monster appeared again? Not long. John saw his son seems to be playing with someone, seems to think of what, took out his cell phone. To see, sure enough, something. Took out his cell phone and saw that it was his wife who had come back to see his son.
I'll protect